to talk to you and have you on the programme. Now we move over to the Americas, where Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has pleaded for peace, urging against a, quote, crazy war amid rising tensions with the United States. Maduro has emphasized that Venezuela wants peace, but is certainly facing the threat of military invasion, particularly as the US continues its military presence in the Caribbean. The US deployed destroyers, a submarine and special forces ships to international waters in the region earlier this year, escalating concerns in Caracas. Let's in fact listen in to what Maduro had to say.
Venezuela quiere paz, somos hermanos de ustedes, trabajadores, trabajadoras, no a la guerra, no a la guerra, not war, not war, not war. Yes, peace, yes, peace, yes, peace, forever, forever, forever.
In response to these threats, Venezuela has launched its Coast Independence 200, as what it calls it, military exercises across several coastal states, including La Guerrilla, Miranda and Zulia. The drills, which are aimed at defending the country's sovereignty, are being overseen by Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, who also serves as Vice President for Defense and Sovereignty. Padrino has emphasized that the exercises were in direct response to what he described as a quote-unquote gross military threat posed by foreign powers. Padrino has also warned against alleged covert operations by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, claiming that any attempt to destabilize Venezuela would be unsuccessful. We are now joined by Shruti Dasgupta. She's an international affairs expert and she joins us live from New Delhi. Shruti, pleasure to talk to you. Shruti, escalating tensions have been present for a while between Caracas and Washington. We've seen Donald Trump posting videos on his social media of these alleged drug boats blowing up with numerous fatalities reported of, once again, alleged cartel members. How far do you see these tensions escalating between Venezuela and the United States?
Greetings to you and your viewers. From what I understand, it can go either way. Although Maduro is asking for peace right now, and he's saying that there should not be a war situation. From what I understand, a day before, he was talking about 5,000 Russian manufactured missiles that could be available with him to counter any aggressive US military posturing. We also understand that, as you have stated in your report, a large number of US military ships are positioned in the Caribbean and are aggressively posturing. There are amphibious vehicles that BBC has reported. So this shows that USA is probably preparing for a different kind of operation, which is not just solely targeting what it calls as a war on drugs. From my understanding, Trump and his regime have co-opted what the Venezuelan opposition has started to say, has been saying that this is not just a dictatorship, this is a criminal regime. And this is exactly what he's using to kind of posture Venezuela's Maduro into a position of being an international criminal, a drug lord, as well as an antisocial element. And he's using all of this to justify sinking ships in the Caribbean, which by UN's own report shows is not the major source of drug. It is the Pacific Ocean. The fentanyl problem that US faces does not stem from Venezuela. It is only a transit corridor. And even if it is, those drugs that transit through do not come towards USA, they go towards the European continent. So Trump's war on drug is more of war for resources, and hence the CIA operations that he hinted at, which could go either way, either to control the drug business or to control the national narrative of Venezuela, is something that Maduro and his regime can be worried about. So it can go either way, depends on how Trump plays his cards and Maduro plays his card. Of course, in a direct confrontation, there is no choice. Maduro will have to bend the knee. So he probably wants a diplomatic solution out of this. which does not take away his chair, but because after the 2024 contested elections, which are internationally denied because there is no transparency on how he continues to stay in power from 2013 onwards. So it is a very dicey situation. It's a very dangerous game that Trump regime is playing because of, in my opinion, it all comes down to the oil reserves that Venezuela holds and Trump wants.
Yes, Shruti, do stay with us. We have a further update where Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has expressed her disagreement with recent US military strikes on boats off the coast of South America, which the US claims were involved in drug trafficking. Sheinbaum has stated that Mexico does not support such actions, emphasizing that international laws govern how nations should handle the alleged illegal transport of drugs or weapons in international waters.
Hay pues leyes internacionales de cómo tiene que operarse frente a una presunto transporte de droga de manera ilegal o armas o en aguas internacionales. Y así lo hemos manifestado al gobierno de Estados Unidos.
The remarks have come in off the wave of US strikes against vessels suspected of being used by drug cartels to smuggle illicit substances, which have raised questions about the legality and effectiveness of military interventions in international waters. We are once again joined by Shruti Dasgupta. Shruti, we have briefly just discussed the effectiveness of these strikes on these vessels, which we have just seen the visuals of. However, how would you assess it in tackling the situation at hand? We know that that the US faces a huge fentanyl crisis. We know that Donald Trump blames both Mexico and China predominantly for that crisis, which has led to them had the slapping of huge tariffs on them. Donald Trump has, of course, taken it in his stride to fight that crisis with his administration. How do you analyse him going about it in this way?
Well, I can understand why Mexico is worried, because after they subdue Maduro and Venezuela, they will definitely come after Mexico and Colombia, which have been identified as the hubs of drugs that flow towards US by border routes rather than sea routes. So this is something they need to worry about. You're correct. They have Trump has acted against China in the name of drugs as well. That is a whole different conversation, where China's Golden Triangle, which is towards the east of the northeastern states of India, and it goes right across towards the Golden Crescent, where Pakistan, Afghanistan is where these illegal arms and drugs they kind of transport to. And from there, it goes to the rest of the world. So this is a golden triangle, golden crescent angle, which China exploits to send mass weapons, illegal mass weapons, and as well as drugs to the world. Beyond that, Mexico is worried because if US is allowed to continue to act as a bully in the world international waters, what stops it from attacking Mexico in the name of anything? There needs to be a stopping point. USA wants to secure its nation against the threat of fentanyl. It should act within its borders. It cannot violate international law, specifically without proof. There is no proof. Those the boats that they have sunk, the stance that they have taken against Venezuela is justified. You cannot function on believe me kind of a narrative. They have to be backed up by proper proof, not just intelligence, alleged intelligence or credible intelligence, hard proof that you killed people, you sunk boats, you made sure that a nation suffered in the name of saving your own. And even then, there are laws, international laws that govern this. If you allow USA to continue to do this, it will attack every nation that it needs to control. Quite blatantly. Next will be Mexico. Beyond that, there'll be Colombia, maybe Brazil, maybe all of South America will face the wrath of Trump regime if this particular stance is allowed to grow. Trump needs to focus inwards. The drug problem is inwards. He needs to ensure law and order is maintained, drug traffickers are arrested, and due justice is followed. It cannot be that he's allowed to act outside of his own borders, because he, unfortunately, is not the king of the world, and neither is he the king of USA.
Shruti Dasgupta, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Pleasure to have you. Well, that's all that we have time for. Keep watching at NewsX World for more news updates.